Hi darlings, it's Colleen from CM Pre-Soul 1111. I hope you're well. This is going to be a twin flame love reading for this week, and it's going to be for the divine feminines. This particular reading will be based around the feminine's heart space, past, present and future, and I'll pull a couple of oracle cards at the end. I apologise, these readings are a little bit late this week. I've not been feeling very well and I'm still full of cold and just feel rotten. So today's been sort of the first day that I felt up to doing the readings. I'll start again. I also wanted to just say thank you very much to everybody that's subscribed to my channel. I honestly cannot believe that I've got over 50 subscribers already. It's insane. So thank you so much to you all. I'm honestly truly blessed and I feel very, very grateful to have you all here. Anybody new that's watching the channel, welcome in and welcome to the tribe. I do weekly twin flame readings and weekly readings by elements. And I also do monthly, at the beginning of the month, star sign readings as well. I've got an Instagram page, so for anyone that's subscribing here that hasn't followed my Instagram page, feel free to go over. It's at CM Pre-Soul 1111, and I'll post daily quotes, funny spiritual stuff, just bits and bobs on there really. And I also announce when new videos have been uploaded to YouTube. Anybody watching that isn't subscribed to YouTube that wants to follow my Instagram page to be notified when those readings come up, feel free to follow the Instagram page. Alright, and it is managed solely by me. Okay, so let's start the reading for the divine feminines. Let's give you guys some advice on the current twin flame energies for this coming week. Readings are timeless, guys, so again, if this resonates with you, great. If it doesn't, leave it. But if you do watch this at a later stage and it resonates with you then this message was meant for you, okay? Okay, let's make a start. Ooh. Past heart space situation, feeling left out in the cold, 9 of Swords, losing sleep, feeling anxious, some depression perhaps. We've got the Queen of Swords here, which is about fairly brutal communication surrounding this connection perhaps. I feel that there's been some communication. But it's been quite juvenile. I do feel like there's been some conflict here. We've got the 5 of Swords, and 5s are about conflict. Loss, rebuilding, they're about change. And you've got 2 5s here, look. 5 of Swords and 5 of Pentacles here. So whatever this situation is that's happened between you and your twin flame, your divine masculine has left you out in the cold feminines and you've been losing a lot of sleep over this. Now, we all know, or at least I'm aware, that in the process of spiritual awakening and meeting your twin flame, or spiritual awakening, ascension, whatever we want to call it, it can be incredibly stressful. It can be incredibly stressful, and everybody has different catalysts for their awakening and for them to sort of tap into their intuition and their spirit guides. And for some people, that catalyst can be meeting a twin flame and realising that there are, bizarre connections that exist in this world that you could not, people that have never experienced it could only imagine. And I feel that the twin flame connection is here to help you not come in union, and I'm sorry if this triggers any of you, but it's not coming into union with your twin flame here in the physical specifically. The sole purpose of this is to awaken you to the fact that there is, you are a spiritual being in a human vessel, and to also help you heal any ancestral or childhood wounds that you have. And unfortunately, the process of a twin flame will trigger every single one because that's the purpose of it. The whole idea of spiritual awakening is about coming into union, not just with you, if you've found your twin flame and this has been a catalyst for your awakening. It's about coming into union with yourself. And the more whole you become as a person and the more balanced you become. And when we talk about this, we talk about masculine and feminine. And for those of you that don't understand this, I will explain. For those of you that do, just bear with me. When we talk about divine feminines and divine masculine energy, we are talking about an energy. We are not talking about a gender. So in essence, where every single person has masculine and feminine energies within them that dictate how they react, what they think, how they feel. And you've also got triggers, and you've got wounds in your soul that need to be healed. And for some people, their catalyst of awakening could be losing a family member. It could be their business failing. It could be losing their husband or their wife. You know, it could be a number of things, not just the twin flame connection. But we all know that meeting a twin flame can be a huge and very dramatic and, you know, damaging process, because it kind of it moves the foundations in which you've built your whole life and the essence of who you are on. So all of a sudden, when those foundations start moving beneath your feet, it can be very distressing, which is why, you know, things like anxiety and depression and needing to be in control of the situation. The whole process of awakening is about shedding the ego, and the ego is essentially, in my view, and not everybody may, you know, everybody may not agree with this. I'm talking to you from my own perspective of awakening here. And my ego has taken a bashing over the years, and I've become I feel a far more assertive and happier and whole person. And that process never, ever ends. Just when you think you get to a point of getting it, guess what? It moves and changes again. And in your situation where there's twin flames, and that was the catalyst for you waking up and realising that life just isn't black and white, and spiritual awakening, in my honest opinion, is completely grey. And when I talk about grey, that's my metaphor for emotional and spiritual things, because for me, I've spent my life more in the masculine energy, yet I'm female. So, you know, these energies can flit, and you can have male genders that have far more feminine energies, and vice versa. And the challenge for me as a person shedding my ego through this process of awakening was actually accepting that this shit existed. Like, if you'd have said to me years ago that, oh, you know, you'd be reading tarot and you would be meditating every single day and you would be looking at connecting with yourself, I would have told you to jog on. You know, I would never have really, I've always been highly intuitive as a person, and I think that stems back to my childhood. And I've always been overly aware, but there have been huge points in my life where I have ignored my intuition, and not good things have happened. So a situation with me that was an event that caused me to go through a process of awakening was post a situation with counselling. And I'm going to level with you, with you guys, feminines, on my journey, so that maybe some of you will draw some resemblance. I don't want this channel to be solely a YouTube channel based around tarot readings. I do want to kind of connect with you guys on a level as well about my journey, because if it can help a few of you wade through the sludge that I had to, and give you some semblance of understanding and actually make you feel normal, then I've done my job. You know, because from my point of view, the journey was incredibly tough, because I'm a black and white, logical, yes or no, right or wrong kind of person. And then through the process of my awakening, and synchronicity started happening, things that I couldn't explain with logic, being able to manifest things, I didn't realise the essence of my own power. And I governed and I run my life solely based on logic. And I found myself during my awakening process completely in the middle of this black and white, in this grey area. And I was like a fish out of water. I didn't have a clue how to move forward, because it didn't make logical sense. And as you start going through that process, you start to find that you reconnect with yourself and you disconnect with everything you've known before. It's incredibly stressful, because everything that seems familiar isn't. Everything that you want to be familiar no longer is. Even yourself. I mean, I had points where I would look at myself in the mirror and I would be asking myself, who the hell are you? And I realised slowly over the course of this process of trusting in my intuition and believing in spirit and divine and angels and feeling that pull, that's when I got drawn to tarot. And I don't know why. I just bought a tarot deck, and that's how my journey started. It made no rhyme or reason. It made no sense, but it's just what I felt called to do. The same as setting up this channel. I ummed and ahed about it for ages, but to be honest, I sort of knew when the time was right, I would feel it. And that's because I've learned to surrender. And the key part of the awakening process is that it's surrender. You know, as humans, take the soul aspect out of it. As logical humans and emotional creatures, we are put in a box that society says is correct, and what we are made to feel that we need to confine ourselves there. And for a period of time until you start awakening, that box is safe. Everything is stable. You know where you're at. Everything makes sense. Then when that lid on that box is opened and suddenly, those 4 confines that are there no longer exist, and I called it Pandora's box, once that process starts, it doesn't stop. You can't stop it. You can fight against it. You can stay up all night like I did. You can think you're fucking insane. Or you can choose to take a deep breath, feel through what you're feeling, and recognise that every single feeling you're feeling is actually your ego fighting against your intuition. So you've got your brain, your heart, and your spirit all competing for different areas. And the truth of the situation, I feel, in my journey, is that the more that I awake, the more wounds I heal, because I'm more aware of myself. And the more wounds I heal, the less I'm attaching to things that are not right for me. Because I don't just go with logic and that's the way it's always been. No, I question. And if something doesn't feel right to me, guess what? I say it. Personally, I'm still a little bit too brash. I'm an Aries. And I'm a hot-headed, passionate person that my delivery can sometimes take, needs a bit of work. But at the essence of it, I still stand true to myself now. Whereas in the past, I wouldn't have. And I would have put up with a lot more, I think, than I do now. And I think when you shed the old and you become the new, an organic part of that process is losing people. And when you meet your twin flame, the wounds that you carry about rejection, abandonment, feeling these feelings and needing that person to feel those feelings are coming from a place within you that is lack. And if you picture a yin yang, and you're balancing black and white energy within yourself, the whole purpose of this process isn't to be with your twin flame. It's to wake you up enough to know your worth, to heal yourself so you become the whole yin yang yourself. You're not looking for someone to fill the gaps. You become whole in yourself. And once you become whole, what happens is, yes, you lose people in the process and they move away from you. But what actually happens in this process is you become whole, and more of that you attract, because that is where you're resonating. You will attract people that are on the same resonance as you, that vibrate on the same level. And unfortunately, the people that are in your life that don't vibrate at that level, feminines, you lose. And for some of you, that can be your twin flame in this lifetime. But for me, a union with your twin flame is actually about the union's already happened in the 3D, because on a soul level, you've already recognised them. So whether they're awake or not, whether they're in denial or not, whether it's not for them, it's not for this lifetime, they don't believe in it, those things for me are not relevant to your journey. And as feminine energies, it's natural to you guys to put other people's feelings before your own. And it's natural to come from a place of emotion and intuition. But for a masculine energy, that process is very, very different. So if you can concentrate and focus on the love that you're pouring out to your masculine by chasing them, and you just reach a point where you say, you know what? I deserve better. I know this connection is what it is, but you're just not there with me yet. You still need to continue on that process of resonating and ascending higher and higher, from 3D thought patterns to 4D to 5D and upwards. And the more that you connect with yourself and your soul, the less you're going to feel the need to chase. Now, this message may be a bit too soon for some of you, and I apologise if it triggers you, but I'm just merely channeling what I feel is right for today. And feminines, I feel there generally, whenever I read about the twin flame, collective, and I see how much of a struggle it is for all the feminines, I recognise that this is a really big battle for not just you, but for the masculines too. And I do feel that they are often forgotten in this process, because guess what? They might not be as awake as you, but they know that connection's there. You're not going to be feeling that just one-sided. And sometimes, you know, people part from their twin flame, and then 30 years later they come back together. You know, you're both here on this earth as a spirit in a human body, living your own journey, and you've all got different family wounds, you've all got different wounds in this 3D, in this lifetime, you've all got, you know, different circles of friends, different religions, different sex, genders, you know, there are so many things at play. But every time your masculine triggers you, that's a gift from them to you. Because what it's doing is it's teaching you where the wounds are within yourself. So if you can look at that and say, you know, instead of why are they doing this to me, what is this trying to teach me? It's a simple shift in your focus, and you bring the energy back towards you. Not why are you doing this to me, and your energy is deflecting outwards. It's what is this trying to teach me? Why am I feeling this way? What can I do better? What could I do differently? How can I change this? Once you use the word I, that energy is coming back into you. That's how I feel about my journey. And once you're able to reprogram yourself to mentally shift the focus from them to you, because let's be honest, if this union is meant to happen, it's going to happen whether you try and push it or chase it or pull it. The focus needs to be you. And I don't mean to come across harsh, but I'm telling you from my own story and my own journey that is where I am right now. I am completely content with the fact that whatever is predestined for me is going to happen. And part of that surrender, I'm going to level with you guys, is because I've been ill this year. And not this cold, this is secondary, but I'm under a specialist having lots of tests. And my spiritual awakening had obviously started way long before this, but my New Year's resolution was to find balance, because I'm an Aries, typical, million miles an hour, passionate, hot-headed, you know, but really genuinely a loyal and caring person who would do anything for anybody. However, in being that way, I'd be a million miles an hour with my business, I'd be a million miles an hour with any of my friends or family that needed me, and then I would leave myself out. And I realised last year that I was putting way too much into areas that weren't really reciprocating. And so this year, my New Year's resolution was to find balance. And then what happened was I got ill. And I'm still undergoing tests at the moment. But my body has forced me to find that balance. And whilst some days are easier than others for me on an energetic and physical level, it's taught me to slow the fuck down. And it's also taught me I don't need to have all the answers now. I've learned in the process of this situation that's happened to me that actually nothing's put in front of me that I'm not strong enough to deal with. And the same goes for you feminines. So whilst it can seem like there's a massive mountain to climb, you will get there one step at a time. And that could be 10 steps back and 2 forward in a day. But the point is, as long as you are focusing on yourself, this growth, this healing will happen without you even realising. And suddenly situations will occur where you realise, oh, I dealt with that so different to how I used to. And you will realise that organic growth has happened without you logically even being aware. This is my experience I'm sharing with you. You know, so I needed to find balance, and guess what? I got unwell. Well, if that's the universe and the divine telling me, Colleen, you do need to fucking stop and slow down. You need to put yourself first. And all of these dreams and aspirations you've got are useless without your health. Well, that was a bloody big wake-up call for me, because actually I'm a million miles an hour and I'm focused on the next goal all the time, and actually I never stopped to think about myself. I did, but not enough. And I didn't put health top of my list. Never. It was what was the next thing to tick off my list, not what do I need to do for me to improve my health so I'm able to tick those things off my list. I used to beat myself up about crap. Utter crap. TNT haven't made it a delivery. What can I do about it? And I think, you know, with this shift in awakening and awareness and ascension and balance within yourself, you learn to be kinder to yourself too. You know, I think feminines generally, you can sort of be pretty tough on yourself. And actually, we don't have all the answers. Actually, this is a journey, not a destination. And I truly feel that as this journey evolves, I realise more and more how wonderful the gift of awakening is. And if twin flame is your catalyst for this awakening, then every gift they give you is a good thing. I'm not saying somebody should mistreat you, but the more you heal yourself, the less you'll put up with that crap anyway. So you see, my darlings, it all starts and ends with you. And the more whole you become, the less likely you are to accept shoddy behaviour or less than equal investment, because you're whole. Somebody that's giving you half, you don't need another half to make you whole. So why accept that? You're a whole person, and that's what you want to attract. So make your focus and your journey be about you. And if your twin flame comes in at a later time in this lifetime, then great, it's an added bonus. But it shouldn't be the sole driver of your ascension and your awakening. It should always begin and end with you. All right? I apologise for that. I just kind of channel as I go. So sometimes these videos will be longer than others, you know. And I hope you've stayed with me during that. And I hope you found it helpful, feminines. Because when I see these groups and I see people talking about it, I can see a lot of you are struggling. And I kind of want to emit an honest but positive viewpoint on all of this. And actually, you know, you haven't lost your masculine. That connection already happened in spirit. It's done. That's there for eternity. It's always been there. You've just happened to stumble across it. And wow, what an amazing gift, because you're part of a movement of light and love and compassion and unconditional love in this world. That is taking that societal box and blowing it the shit up. And we got this. We've all got this. All right, let's take a little look now. Moving away. Okay, so past headspace for my feminines, obviously, as I've said, it's been we'll recap on this because I've gone off on a tangent. It's the Nine of Swords, and clarifying that, it's the Four of Swords. So this is a process of you overcoming the anxiety that you're feeling surrounding this connection, stepping into your power, feminines, and focusing on your own healing. As I said, it'll be very interesting to see if these cards come out and mirror what I've been discussing already. It could be. When we talk about the Queen of Swords, we're talking about communication and it being quite brash, but also with the Ace of Swords, it's about new beginnings. And aces are about the new cycles beginning, and the Ace of Swords for me is about speaking your truth. Don't be afraid of this. At the end of the day, awakening, everybody can awaken if they choose to. Some of us, it's thrust upon us and we don't have a choice, but, and that was my story. But, the truth of the situation is you've got to be real about it. I was absolutely terrified. I bought tarot deck cards once. I went on holiday with friends, and my friend said to me, they're for people, like you to buy. And it triggered the hell out of me. And it was because I was new to it. And I ripped his head off wrongly, because I'm a fire sign and I just, communication isn't one of my strongest points. And I had to leave the conversation, and I realised actually other people's opinions of my spirituality mean absolutely nothing to me. But at that stage, I hadn't realised that was even a wound. So I had to come back downstairs and apologise to him and say, I'm really sorry, it's a trigger I didn't know was there, and I'm glad it's happened with a friend rather than with a stranger. And I realised in that moment that not everybody is going to understand how we are. And therefore, it's important to create communities and vibe with people that get where you're at. Because not everybody that's living in this 3D logical space are going to be able to see anywhere above that. Some may be aware of it slightly and they may be able to comprehend what you're saying a bit, but unless they've gone through it, comprehending a spiritual journey is a very, very difficult thing. Because it's such a personal thing. My journey's not going to be the same as yours, but there will be similarities and we'll be able to help each other. But being truthful with yourself and being truthful with others about it and being proud of it is key as well, Page of Cups is about small communications clarified by the King of Rods. So this particular connection with your masculine is requiring some solid, fast-moving action, because, you're ready to kind of pack up and leave here. And leave quickly with the Knight of Swords there. There's a lot of swords and there's a lot of air here. So this could be about an air sign, guys. And the situation with this connection has left you or them feeling out in the cold, and oops, wrong way round, and making you feel like you need to walk away from it. or them walking away actually has left you feeling out in the cold, because these two are back to back. Let's look at the present heart space for you feminines. But I feel a little bit like you guys are still very much in your head. This collective that I'm picking up on today, you are in your head, and you need to kind of find a way to be more intuitive, trust your intuition, and reach that point of surrender. Being truthful with yourself. That, you know, this shit is real. This connection is real. You're not crazy, as the process would make you feel at points. And no true word, you know, there's a lot of contemplation about new beginnings surrounding love, yeah? And this new beginning in love is the High Priestess here, which is about intuition, yeah? Come on, this is mirroring exactly, this is telling you what I've just said. New cycles in trusting your intuition and not holding on to the 3D too much. Four of Pentacles, for me, the energy of that card is like gripping on for dear life. And you know what? At points, the spiritual awakening is like holding on to a cliff and somebody saying to you, don't worry, let go, I'll catch you. The divine is saying, I'm going to catch you. And you're thinking, fuck that, I ain't let go. You've got to let go. Because if you don't surrender, you're going to stay stuck. You need to move forward. We've got two aces in this, in the present situation. New beginnings. As I say every time I see this card, it's my Harry Potter wand. Wave your wand and wishes will come true. You need to release attachments to this connection and believe that the divine has got your back. And if this journey is destined for you in this lifetime, it will happen. Trust me. It will happen. You don't need to force that. Overall outcome, King of Cups. Emotional stability, my darlings. Oh. Wow. This has got to be one of the first times I think I've ever seen this, that I can recall anyway. You have got clarifiers. Every single one of these cards is a cup. Emotional clarification here. There's going to be a new cycle, and if this person has walked away and left you feeling out in the cold, or you have them, there's going to be an apology. There's going to be some sort of reconciliation that's going to enable this to move forward. It could be that this person will start to awaken and realise where they've gone wrong, or it could just well be that you reach a point where you say sorry to yourself for being so tough on yourself, and actually, you know what, sorry to the divine for doubting it, you know. Your intuition is stronger than I think you give yourselves credit for, feminines. This is what you are all about. The High Priestess embodies everything that you are when it comes to intuition. And the Two of Cups is about, this can be a lover's card, you know, a relationship. But for me, that's more about equal exchange. Yeah, so when I spoke to you earlier about being whole in yourself and only attracting that, that is for me what that's about. If you invest and put, you know, fill your cup and look after yourself, yeah, and you trust in the divine, and you see the love that they're offering you, and you release that attachment to, you know, needing the logic and the 3D and money and wealth and stability and all those things that actually you can't take with you when you're gone. Once you surrender, you're going to have fulfillment here. Satisfaction. Emotional satisfaction, with or without your twin, without your masculine. I feel you guys have gone through a massive process, and you're reaching a point where you know this cycle of being lost in your mind has got to end. And emotionally, that means you've got to look after yourself. And, you know, the new beginning here, the new action is moving away from feeling so fucking confused. Trusting in the situation and surrendering to it, you know. What will be, you know. Let's take a little look in your present situation, feminines. And I apologise, this reading's been a bit long, but I hope some of you find it helpful and that you persevered and stuck through it. I do sort of channel real time, so sometimes my videos can be really short and sweet, and I try and do that. But then today, I don't know, but I think because I've not been feeling very well, and I did a wicked meditation this morning, I feel like I'm running on spiritual energy today, man. Even though I feel snotty as hell and like one great big germ, but we'll go with it. Yeah, look. Future situation is about finding balance, giving what you get back, and only that. Holding space for your masculines by all means, because that connection is forever in a, you know, in a spiritual sense. That union's happened. But, you know, there needs to be an equal exchange in the 3D for you guys, feminines. Yeah, because this situation has been very toxic for you. Okay, look. I feel that this is about, you know, waiting and waiting and waiting for your masculine to move forward, and that situation has become very, very toxic for you. I think, you know, the balance is about finding stability here in the 3D, financial stability on your own, emotional stability, and finding your inner strength, feminines. You know, you do not, and for me, this kind of reinforces what I said about you don't need your masculine. If you can be with your masculine, then that's great. But you don't need your masculine. Because guess what? Feminines, you've got your shit covered. You know? You got this. I mean, look. Come on now. You're strong as fuck. You know? Let's get some clarifiers on this future situation for you guys. Yeah, look, when I said about you not waiting anymore, look, that behaviour and that cycle, blowing shit up. When I said earlier about blowing the lid off that box that society keeps you in, that's the shit I'm talking about, you know. At the end of the day, this situation has been toxic for you, and you now need to trust in the divine and let it go. And trust that your wish will be granted without you trying to force it or push it or chase it or whatever. Just release the need. You don't need to be in this mentality of lack. You deserve these 2 cups. Those other 3, they're in addition to. For me, in this energy exchange with this, you're giving too much and you're not getting the same back. And instead of, you know, you seeing that in the 3D situation, nah, just focus on your own stability, your own security. Know your worth. You see, this is the love from the divine. This is the love you deserve. Moving away from that 5 of Cups mentality, which is kind of feeling conflicted about love, feeling the loss of your masculine, and moving towards stability for yourself. 4s are about stability, my darlings. This is about emotional stability, being strong, standing your ground, knowing your worth, healing these wounds, so you're not coming from a place of, oh, divine masculine, I need you, to a place of divine masculine, I'm so pleased we met, and what will be, will be. I wish you all the best in your healing, and you focus on your healing, I'll focus on mine, and if we're meant to be, I'll meet you there. And truly feeling happy within that statement. Because I think once you find that balance, you will be happy. There will be happiness in this for you. Let's pull you a couple of romance cards as well, feminines, just because, you know, I like to cap off with a couple of oracles. These Adoring Virtue, romance angel cards. Absolutely love these. Difficult for me to shuffle with small hands, but let's do 4 for stability for my divine feminines. Ready? Make the effort. Great life is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. Stay optimistic about your love life. Positive thinking and faith will bring you romance. So again, making the effort. For me, the way I read this card is about making the effort to invest the love you freely give to others into you, feminine. The more you do that, the more you're enabling your masculine to grow with you. Yeah? And stay optimistic. This corresponds to the Star card. You know, you've got to trust. You've got to take that leap of faith. Positive thinking and faith will bring you romance. Okay, I'm going to pull you one other oracle card, which is by Doreen Virtue. Also, they're new ones, and they're called Daily Guidance from Your Angels. So I was just looking at the box to see the name. I never remember it for some reason. One card for my divine feminines. One card to give them additional guidance to these angels. I'm going to go with 5 because we want to get rid of that conflict. 4. Play. Beloved one, it's time to set aside work for a while. Don't worry, we will oversee your responsibilities to their completion. Playfulness and laughter will lift your energy so that you will return to work with a renewed perspective and heightened energy. So again, this is about, I don't feel this is about surrounding work exactly. If I was to correspond this to the reading that we've just done, this is about setting time aside from work for you. Yeah? Not putting in so much work into your connection and trying to make it happen. That effort, that energy, that love needs to come back round. It needs to come back in here. Fill your own cup, my darlings, all right? Right, Feminines, that's your reading for this week. I hope you found it helpful. For anyone that watched, please do hit the subscribe button and I'll catch up with you guys next week. All right, take care. Bye.